I tried to have this cool, calm, and collected moment. Just a little bit of Diet Dr. Pepper went down the wrong hole. Fuck it. Movie's god awful.
That's okay. It's a lot quieter than you were in the movie.
Yeah. Fuck it. God awful. Piece of shit movie.
Also, we are terrible theater goers.
Oh yeah, we are.
We are the worst.
Yeah, fucking.
I mean, if there was anything we could both agree on with this movie, it's that we are.
No, there are several things we can agree on. That this movie's terrible, and that we are terrible moviegoers. Especially when we're watching a movie as terrible as The Huntsman.
Well, I think I whispered over there early in the movie. I said, if you just think of this as a sequel to Dungeons and Dragons, no, it's still shit. I was trying to set a low precedent, but
no, I ain't having it. There's no defense for this movie. This movie's got fucking.
No, I gotta
awful.
be honest. It wasn't at its worst in the beginning. I mean,
like, all right. If we were to go on a gradient curve of where this movie went wrong, the beginning was probably the least offensive, except for the whole character, like the whole backstory behind why the Snow Queen, for lack of a better term, God help me if I can remember any of these characters' names. I mean, God, like the Snow Queen decided to be the Snow Queen because, like as Liam Neeson, the narrator, put it, if she can't have a child, she'll be evil. In no uncertain terms, Liam Neeson said as much. Yeah, he's like, if she cannot have a child, then she will have a kingdom.
Having his narration recorded while he's sitting on his squatty potty.
Yeah, I imagine that he's reciting this narration while reading the Wall Street Journal.
They slid the lines under his door while he was in the bathroom, and they were like, you just read this and we'll slide the money when you're done. Under there with some toilet paper if you're missing any, or you could just use the money.
It's like if I was Liam Neeson,
there's enough of it.
Like if I was Liam Neeson, I wouldn't even bother going to the set these days. I would just mail in my performances.
It sounded kind of
and just mail in with a COD right on the tapes.
Yeah, he's getting into Morgan Freeman levels here. He's really
no one has reached Morgan Freeman levels except for Morgan Freeman. He's nowhere near Morgan Freeman as I'm in this movie, I guess. Yeah. Although Gary Oldman is much more closer to that area than Liam Neeson is.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Liam Neeson was not in Bob Cop. No. But yeah, we saw the sequel.
Still a worse movie than this, though. Bob Cop.
Well, yeah,
it's Robert Cop. Isn't it? It's
Robert Cop, Bob Cop. Either way.
Well, Robert sounds closer to robot.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah,
and it was an actual toy.
But Bob Cop. Yeah, shit on the legacy.
Yeah.
Although, if we're going back to that movie franchise, I mean, it's not like it's the worst of them. RoboCop 3 is definitely the worst of the series, but it is the most depressing. Whereas this is just, there's no memories to shit on. I mean, like I don't hold Snow White and the Seven Dwarves to be especially. Especially close to my heart. It was a movie I saw as a kid, but that's
it's a classic story. Canon has been done a million different ways, gritty, different dark ways.
Yeah, I mean, like of all the movies to escape that weird sort of era in the early 2000s or the early 2010s of making dark, gritty reboots of fairy tales, like they did that with Hansel and Gretel. They did that with Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, Jack the Giant.
I remember.
Yeah, Jack.
I didn't see it. I just remember the previews.
But then all of a sudden, like just because they got Charlize Theron in as the evil queen in the Snow White movie, which they just called the Huntsman, because there's no possible way that they could make a gritty reboot of Snow White, and except for focusing on the Huntsman, the guy who was just kind of there for like 30 seconds of the movie. Yeah, we're gonna make a movie about that guy instead of the actual Snow White. And nowhere is that even more painfully apparent than it was in this movie, where Snow White, you don't even see Snow White's face. You just see the back of her head moaning to the heavens, like, what am I going to do with this evil mirror? Nobody wants to buy it on eBay!
Yes, the Mirror of Sauron. with the elvish writing along the edges of it, and the whispering voice is Harry Potter.
You know.
Yeah, expect him to just his head to come out of the.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Fuck, man, that mirror was. You left, but they found the mirror 10 feet away from the place that they entered, like the ravine. They just. They went to the place where the mirror was where they heard the rumor was supposed to be, and it was just there.
It's like, wow, not on like any kind of pedestal, not like being looked at by some kind of monster.
Nah, it was just leaning up against like I can barely remember at this point because it was so shoehorned right into the scene. I mean, I remember they cut to them taking the mirror away, and I was like, wait, that's right, the mirror was just. They got it already. The goblin jumped in front of them. The bad CG goblin.
That look like the apes from freaking Jungle Book.
Yeah, it had some of the movements from the.
Yeah, they probably recycled a few animation between studios there.
Yeah, so the goblin attacks them. The mirror. They're like he's like the mirror's right over there, just leaning against a tree. And they take it.
This isn't exactly like Master Sword territory where you have to ascend some ancient steps and there is the sword and the pedestal and you just...
There was a bridge. There was a little vine bridge, and it was like a 10-foot ravine at best.
Yeah, like a 10-foot drop ravine.
And they're acting like it's the fucking fires of Mordor beneath it.
Which, oh god, all right. I know we preempted this quite a bit, but let's lay out the scene because this is where I knew that the movie was bad before, but this was just like it teetered over the edge. It's just like this is going to be all-time top 10 worst of the year territory. When Chris Hemsworth, oh yeah, Thor's in this movie. If you don't remember, like if you somehow managed to block the Huntsman from your memory when it came out like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago.
We never saw it. By the way,
we never saw it.
We went into this raw,
as it were. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth is getting chased by goblins after they successfully took the mirror. And so what does he do? He chops down the rope bridge that they crossed in order to get to where they were.
Goblins that apparently wear armor made of gold
and have tar
and
blood.
Have tar blood. And have tar blood because golden armor is really easy to fight in.
Like beyond the fact
that's like a minus 20 to your dexterity rating. Right there.
This highly malleable yet really dense metal. Yeah, this is very, very good for armor plating and weapon smithing and such. But I'm more,
and they have molten gold.
Mm-hmm. I'm more pissed off of the fact that like their blood is tar. Their blood is fucking tar for no reason other than to...
It smells like tar.
It smells like tar.
He says it smells like tar.
It looks like tar.
It looks like tar and it smells like tar.
And it goes up in flames like tar. So their blood is fucking tar.
That's right. It did go up in flames like tar. That's why that arrow worked.
Yeah. Exactly. So the writers kind of got themselves into a course like how do we get them out of the goblin cave? It's like their blood's made out of tar and then the fire arrow and then they just go up in flames and boom, they're done. Done. I mean, like this movie, like that's the level of like weird writing in this movie. I mean, it's been quite a time. It's been quite a few movies since we've seen a movie that was this broken on a story structure and writing level.
Why did they want the golden mirror?
Because
they're stupid goblins. They just want gold, right?
They just want gold.
They have a fucking moat of molten gold. They have armor made of gold. They are clearly not lacking in gold as a resource. What the fuck did they care about that mirror so much for?
And like, how is it that more to the point? Like, why? If they do have all this gold, I'm not like. I don't mind the fact that they're after more gold because, like Goldfinger, right? It's Goldfinger logic. I love gold. I love gold. Not that's Goldmember, but
whatever.
Yeah, but the same kind of mindset. Like just because they love gold, and just because they have a lot of gold doesn't mean they don't want more gold.
And why hadn't the blanket was still covering the mirror though?
Yeah,
like they don't have They don't fucking know what this mirror does.
No.
Why did they leave the blanket over it? They would have taken, fuck this blanket. Let's see what's underneath it. It's a mirror. They stole it because it's gold. They don't need the. They wouldn't have taken the blanket too.
Well, if they didn't have the blanket over the mirror, then there would be no way for the mirror to immediately talk to them and immediately talk to their heads. But again, my question is, where the fuck did these goblins come from? They went from like this huge area where like this very isolated incident where the goblins are deep within the swamp or like weird forest area, and then they just immediately happen upon the one band that just happens to have this gold mirror, and then they just bring it right back. It's like, were the goblins known to?
Up until that point, it was really a very Dungeons and Dragons kind of feel. Even a little bit of charm to it, I have to say. But we're talking about a span of 25 minutes at best, where it feels that way. And then it just takes a dive into dumb. A dumb that even, you can't even look at it as a D&D movie and try to salvage it that way.
The D&D movie was a better movie than this. At least that was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, unintentionally funny, but it was funny. I mean, oh god, what was that? Bruce Payne. Yeah.
Blue Lips.
Yeah, Blue Lips.
Oh, fucking Blue Lips.
Bruce Payne.
And snails.
I mean, everyone remembers Jeremy Irons in that movie as being like the over-the-top actor in that movie, but Bruce Payne. I mean, if you want to talk about a guy who regularly chews scenery like it was made out of Nestle Crunch bars,
Yeah.
Bruce Payne, no matter what he's in.
Could have used him in this.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure where you put him, but like anywhere, like it's Bruce Payne.
Goblin King. Just
Yeah,
like
I'm sure he would have pulled it off in his own Bruce Payne way.
He can explain why they have the mirror and why they haven't melted it down yet into the rest of the armor.
Remember it? Like, did you ever see Highlander, the fourth Highlander movie, where they were trying to cross with the TV series?
Oh yes. I saw it as a kid.
Oh, you remember him? Like he got the soles of his feet, like the soles of his shoes rather, as like holy ground. So no matter where he was always walking on holy ground.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't remember that.
It was like, so that's why nobody was like dared chop off his head. Bruce Payne. Ooh. Hence that immortal line he said to Christopher. Hence why he that immortal line by Christopher Lambert. He's like, "Don't you want to be inside me?"
Oh my god. But that was the fourth movie?
That was the fourth movie. Yes.
The one where Duncan finally meets Connor?
Yeah.
And they have like the terrible wigs and everything, and oh god, I don't remember the holograms. I mean, I remember Edge lifting the boulder and shit like that. You remember Edge in that movie, Ray?
Yeah.
Fucking Edge. That was this...
I thought we were talking about the Huntsman, but no. Let's talk about all the stupid Highlander movies that have been.
There's more to talk about, but Edge lifting that fucking boulder like the lead singer in The Darkness in that.
Oh, like
I believe the thing called Love. He had the long hair, blonde hair, everything. I don't know.
No. Let's at least attempt to stay on topic here. But the Huntsman, I forgot its subtitle. It's that much of a nothing movie. Something to do with snow, I'm sure.
Snow White, the Hunts.
No, like Frost's.
Hunt White Snowmen.
All right. Granted, we didn't go into this movie with the best mindset possible. We were expecting to hate it. We were expecting for it to be a shit sandwich,
and I was determined to find a way for this to be an interesting movie, just so that we don't have to sit here and go.
No, but where this movie goes from just simply poor. No. Let's start from the beginning. Let's really recap this. So, apparently, the evil queen has a sister. We'll call her Elsa, who.
Yeah. Oh fucking god!
Yeah, let's
ride that train.
Let's ride this character's plot rail, shall we? So, she She's the sister of the queen, and the queen decides, she gets a wild hair up her ass and says, no, she asks the mirror one day, and like, who's the fairest of them all? And says, well, you are for now, but your sister's baby, she's going to be hot, yo. She's going to be banging. You better do something about it if you still want to be the fairest of them all. And that's exactly what she does. She hypnotizes her husband into killing the baby, torches the little girl in the crib, and as soon as Elsa finds this out, all he does is just like, I had to do it. Like, I had to burn this baby alive. Like, at no point does Elsa say, like, why did you kill our child? Why did you burn our baby alive?
Why did you have to
scorched
earth?
Like, why did you have to burn our baby? Like, the thought didn't even occur to her. The thought is like, just activate her Elsa powers, freezes him and shatters him, and then is like, if I can't have a child, I shall have a kingdom. And then immediately marches out of her kingdom with, like, half the guards because, like I don't know why the guards decided, like, hey, I guess we just go with her. I don't know.
I don't know. I was almost
the municipality. I'm sorry, not the principality of this kingdom is just baffling. Like,
it looked like just a single little thing of smoke, though.
Yeah,
it looked like just one little thing. I was almost expecting him to say, like, I had to do it. I had to burn dead. There's like, walks over at the baby. There's this little incense burning because he was changing the diaper, and he's like, oh.
He's holding this gigantic torch in a burnt crib. He's like, I had to burn this baby alive. I had to do it. I mean, like, be mad at me if you want, but I got to do what I got to do. Just burn the baby.
Baby's on fire.
So now she takes her mindless goons of knights, because that's just
her huntsman.
She hunts, and then she just starts
raised from children.
Yeah, but like before that, she massacres villages to build her kingdom to get the children to raise into huntsmen in the first place.
Wait a minute. Who did she have for
like
just like the regular regiment?
Just like the regular regiment of the kingdom that she was already in. Who just decided, like, I guess our queen sister got frost powers, and I guess I'm going with her.
Yeah. It is very, very Frozen. It really is. She has a fucking ice tower, and she wears icy diamond gowns, and she has blonde, well, not blonde, I guess,
like platinum white hair.
Platinum white hair. It's very... we know where the money goes.
Well, that's... like part and parcel of like the rocky beginning, which was the best part of the movie. That lets you know exactly what kind of quality we're working with here. But leads the King Guards out into the northern areas, starts conquering the land here, and the guards are just like brain dead morons, or they're so pissed scared of this woman for don't freeze me like Sub-Zero, don't do that. I could believe that kind of a mindset of why they do this.
Please don't ice us.
Yeah, please, yeah, and don't linquay us. But the thing about they go up into the northern areas, build his kingdom, and then in comes the narration, Liam Neeson narration, just saying, the farmlands of the area were turned into icy tundras by the queen. And
that's where we go into Narnia land.
Yeah, like
straight up,
really?
White Witch.
Like, really, the rich farmland? What rich farmland? You're in the fucking mountains. You're in the fucking... What rich farmland? What crops could you grow on peaks? On rocky terrain? There's no...
Yes, you have a better chance of growing shit in Fallout 4 and your little patchy camps.
At least there's topsoil there. There's nothing
But then again, magic.
Magic.
Yeah, maybe before she was the ice queen, maybe she was like the she had like a green thumb and everything, and she was a druid. I don't know.
No, because the ice queen didn't have any powers. She didn't have any powers.
That's right. She didn't manifest it, but she was really, really good at. They had some. Fuck it. Fuck it.
And also, Also, if the land was previously a lush tundra, why the fuck did you build your houses to facilitate having a large amount of winter? All of the houses and buildings in that area had huge steepled roofs to keep the snow from collapsing the roofs, like they do in freaking Sweden and the Nordic country, all the Nordic countries. That's why their houses are built like that.
Denmark, definitely. Yeah.
In fact, that's why, like in the Midwest, you won't find a flat roofed house, because if they do, every winter the roof is going to collapse from all the snow gathering on the ceiling, on the roof rather. But like, okay, that's just like mindless. That's mindless set design. That's mindless, like. That's just mindlessness meaning mindlessness. Yeah. They didn't care to think about it. I'm not going to care about this. All right. But where I start to get really about the motivation is that now that she's, now that she's childless, rendered childless, betrayed by her husband killing her baby, she's like, I want to be a bitch. So she starts.
Oh yes. I think as Liam Neeson put it,
can't have a child.
If she couldn't raise a child, she would raise an army.
You did one of these in the theater when he said that. You just like. There were many moments where we just did that.
It's a mindless flail.
Just like our impotent rage being manifested as Marcel Marceau. Like a DX, suck it. But so after like destroying nearly all of the townships and villages in the area, she gathers the children and starts building the Huntsman and training the Huntsman. Now, all right. Let me ask you something.
Yes.
As far as character motivation is concerned, I could buy that having believed that her husband-to-be killed their baby, burned it alive, not just like strangled it in the crib, burned the baby alive.
Yeah.
I can imagine that there would be, like no one's the same as said after that.
No.
No, but would you do a complete heel turn and just start kidnapping children from their homes? Tell them, love is a lie. And then, if they don't comply, you freeze their skin.
I would, and here's why. The movie needs a plot.
Beyond that.
And the movie is bigger than... It's bigger than all of us.
Yes. Well, the plot must flow. We all remember that anniversary.
Yeah.
But... So this is where Chris Hemsworth comes into the picture, and and we find out that he was raised by the Snow Queen to be a child soldier. So, but defying the Snow Queen, he falls in love with. I know I recognize the actress from somewhere, but I for the life of me I can't, and I've been known to get so much shit wrong.
Yes,
but she reminds me a great deal of the wild woman.
Yeah, the
Yidris,
her name, but
Yvette, something like that.
From Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like the
you don't know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, that
one.
She reminds me. It might be the same actress.
It's not the same actress. It's not the same actress.
Not the same actress, but same kind of role, same kind of
same idea. She put on the thick accent.
Like everyone has this thick Northern English accent.
But yes, I know this actress. She's been in other things. She's a little older than the other actress, but
the Snow Queen is played by Emily Blunt. Just that I know that's important because we'll get to Emily Blunt and Charlize Theron soon enough. So they defy the Snow Queen by falling in love, and then the Snow Queen finds out about it, and so she decides to partition them off with a wall of ice. And Chris Hemsworth sees his lady love stabbed before his eyes before being beaten half to death and thrown into a river. But then...
Before he's beaten half to death and thrown into a river. It wouldn't make sense to kill her and then beat her to death.
Yeah. But this is where it goes completely off rails. Later in the movie, who shows up to save his bacon from the Huntsman who are after Chris Hemsworth? His lady love. How is she alive? Because apparently she just took her captive into the dungeon and then made both of them see what they wanted to see. Okay. Then it's revealed later that she was actually a double agent for the Snow Queen and that she was planted there to help lead Chris Hemsworth to the mirror to get it for the Snow Queen. Okay, was that always the plan? Was that why you kept her alive and made him believe that she died? Well, if you're going to keep her alive, if you were going to keep, what was the point? If you thought that he was dead, if you thought he was dead, why keep her alive?
Exactly. I'm going to let him go so that I can kill him.
So can kill him later?
But if he does die, that's good.
Fuck. So like, okay, here's the thing. What if he did die in that river? What was the point of keeping her alive then? Because like she said as much that she uses her to scout ahead and like and do her bidding essentially, but there'd be no point in making her believe that he ran away. I mean, like, why didn't she show her being killed as well?
Yeah.
There's no point other than for this forced betrayal arc. But okay, even with all of that said, she becomes a triple agent for the Snow Queen by when he reveals that he still kept his little bracelet and he still kept his little ring that she gave to him when they first got married in secret.
And he never took it off, which is proven to her by the fact that he is wearing it at that very moment.
Yeah, even though like half the movie goes by without him like, hey, see this? I kept it. I didn't run away. You know, the Snow Queen's being a bitch.
Hey, what is that over there? I wore this the whole time.
Why didn't he bring it out sooner? Like, especially when she put a knife to his throat and saying, like, you left me, you son of a bitch. It's like...
He forgot that he was wearing it. He's had it so long. Oh, shit, I didn't take it off.
Oh, shit. Like, check this out. See, I was true to you. I was true. I was the true. But...
Also, it looks really cool.
Chicks really dig it. Oh, man. But there's this tumbling logic here. Okay. She tells him that she was kept in the dungeon. And then whipped. Now he says, okay, if that were true, why are you... Like, it doesn't even occur to him, like, why are you here? Like, if you were in the... Like, how the fuck did you get here and how did you find it? Like, it doesn't even occur to him, like she's an agent. And it doesn't even occur to her... doesn't even occur to him, rather her, that something screwy is going on until that little necklace is going on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she, like... I don't know how many, like, turns there were, but, like, it was so needlessly convoluted. Just, there was no point. There was no point in this whole charade going on. There was no point for this, because the Snow Queen did not know that he was going to survive, first and foremost.
No, this is putting the cart ahead of the horse. This is we need to have this happen later in the movie at this point, where it's backtracking.
Yeah, like
it's.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a betrayal and we're like, but it's not a real betrayal; it just looks like a betrayal.
But wait, why would they? Why would that happen? When would that happen?
The Snow Queen can make people see things because that's a power she has, even though she never uses that power ever again. Like,
yeah, we'll get to that shit. Powers, fucking bullshit powers.
So, backtracking to the beginning of the movie, the Huntsman it's been 7 years since that fateful incident, and he's just all like, I guess a movie happened to me in the interim. I guess I'm friends with Snow White. I don't know. For you guys who didn't see the original movie, you're SOL. So, So, some guards and a dwarf who I'm pretty sure might have been, I think he was introduced as like, or there were two dwarves in the movie. One looked like he was in the first movie because I was like,
and then one of them is Frost.
No. Nick Frost was in the movie. Nick Frost was in the first movie as a dwarf.
Oh, he wasn't in the first movie.
He was in the first movie. It's because they said to him like, "Oh, you, yeah, like you. What are you doing here?" And it's like, I also got this other dwarf because he's completely like both dwarves, like both Nick Frost and Rob Brydon, who plays the other dwarf, are just so
completely useless,
completely unnecessary. Just for the slightest touch of...
it's just, there was dwarves in the Snow White story. You gotta have dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, like, there weren't 7 of them, surely.
No.
And they weren't any of the 7 dwarves we know of, so it's... Again, grim take on a fairy tale. I get it, but So dwarves working in a mine, that's close enough. All right. But they join on this journey because they tried to ship the magic evil mirror away, but the brand that was sent out to do it hasn't reported back in 2 weeks, so they get the Huntsman to track him. Hence, we kind of arrived back to where we kind of started. Yeah. This whole tracking quest to find the mirror, the goblin camp, and then running into
short time there, it really starts to have a little bit of the charm of D&D to it. Like cha-ching, we added two new people to our party. We ran into them. They got caught in their trap. We showed them the diamond that they found on an arrow that was shot by a goblin, apparently, and because they like other things than gold apparently as well. But it was like, here's something that you wanna get out of this, Bridges, and we have a quest item that we need to get. Let's see what we can work together. And
then it just
very simple plot, very just he's like he turns into he multi-classes into a ranger along the way and starts being able to smell things on the path,
dual wield axes. So he's a fighter.
Yeah, and it's kind of charming. You can literally you can just see the points where they roll the dice to do their.
Yeah, I can certainly get behind a movie that had that approach to it, but it just got off the rails. Although, in one special moment when the lovers are reunited, and Chris Hemsworth's like, "No, baby, no, really, I really thought you were dead." And I love. There's this one line that I really liked, and she holds a knife up to his throat, like, "Really? Did you tell all the girls that? I bet it got their eyes wet. As well as other places." Woo! You snuck in a pussy joke.
Kids movie.
Actually, this movie
is really rather PG-13.
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it was PG-13, but there wasn't much blood, and that's where the fight scenes got really, really hard to follow.
Except for the goblins. The goblins apparently
blood.
They have some kind of
it's black blood, but it doesn't look like real blood, so they can get away with it.
Yes. So they of course bleed tons.
Yeah, like none of the wounds bleed in this movie. I think you do see red stains on ice. I think, but the weirdest part about, the worst part about the action scene in this movie is that it's obvious that they had to edit around some of the more bloody things in the movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, here's the thing. Excuse me. So there's a fight in the bar, but it's edited so spastically and it's cut so weirdly with so many camera whips to try to block the fact that no one's actually getting hurt. It just looks like they're getting hurt. It's like, a stab wound,
and a lot of them use quarter staves.
Yes, yeah. So just to get around the fact that no slashing weapons, no nothing except
it was so ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. They're huntsmen. And they're assassins, really.
With quarterstaffs.
Yeah, with quarterstaffs.
Fine hunting weapon.
Incapacitate your enemy.
Fine hunting weapon, the quarterstaff. Second only to the war maul. In fact, a war maul would be more useful for hunting than I can't. Can you imagine a more maybe a punching dagger?
Maybe a double club, dude. Double club.
A double club.
Not that I know anything about double clubs and their origin.
Oh man.
We'll edit that. Edit it out. But yes. It's a quarterstaff, you.
But here's the thing: if she was always supposed to be an agent sent to, lead them to the mirror and then infiltrate them and get the mirror back, was it also in the plan to not only shoot an arrow in one of the huntsman's hands, but also chop one of the huntsman's arrow off?
That's right. That's the same. Was that the same hand?
No, I don't think it was the same hand, but it was a. But she
does hate hands.
She hates hands because
I mean they do hold weapons.
Yeah, but she did chop off a huntsman's hand and
she shot someone's hand. I think it might have been the same guy, but she shot his hand and then she chopped his hand off
or something like that. Was that also in the plan? Was that also?
I know you sure sacrificed a lot for that.
For that Snoke, where he's like, I don't want her to freeze my balls off. Just chop off my hand. I don't care. Just sell it. again was more like retroactive. You didn't think about this plot, did you, writers? But so they got the merry band together. We got two dwarves. We got Chris Hemsworth and his lady love, and then we get two.
Like Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, he does kind of look like Dolph Ziggler in the movie. But the best, they get snared into a dwarven trap, and two more dwarves join in, and they're female dwarves, which means our dwarves
we get to have romantic interest between our male dwarves and our female.
It's
dwarves.
with the female, like the actresses who were playing the female dwarves. They were bad. I mean,
Which, yeah.
I mean, like no one actor is bad in the movie. They're just working with really rough, weak material.
But that was the parts that you hated the most, for sure. Was the dialogue between Dwarf A and Dwarf B.
No, I was hating everything. Like that whole forest scene was the absolute just cheese grater on the ball sack of my entire film going experience, and I'll tell you why. So they tried to talk to the female dwarves, saying like, "Oh, let's go to the goblin camp. Let's pick out gold," and because the female dwarves are in it for the money. So they get into a boat, and then they start having like some kind of romantic back and forth, which is just the pits to sit through. And if it's not like I hate you, like the tsundere relationship between the Rob Brydon dwarf and one of the other female dwarves, I can't remember the actresses' names, and they're just sniping at each other, like just is one of those just fuck already kind of relationships.
Yes.
And then the Nick Frost dwarf and the other dwarf just have like it's almost like Star Wars Episode 2 kind of dialogue where they talk about salt and being
Instead of
thirsty.
sand, yeah.
It's like I would have taken you, Walter. I was actually really thirsty. It's like I get thirsty too, especially when I have a lot of salt.
Salted roast.
It's like less salty things like crackers and roasted chicken, and then they just kind of have
a roasted chicken at the same time, and that's like a moment. Yeah,
it's like, but the worst was Chris Hemsworth, because he literally tries to romanticize his lady love, now turned lady hate.
It's like, have you ever had ocean water, salt, and water at the same time?
No, that wasn't.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but Chris Hemsworth tries to be charming to her by literally talking about what just happened to them with the scene back. So like, in fact, there was this one girl I know of where I actually got into a net with her, and they were trying to be cutesy, and it was like, we saw that literally 4 minutes ago, you assholes! No! I hate romantic dialogue. Like, I fucking hate that. That was it was the worst part of Amazeball Spider Bro 2. That was the worst in there, and it's weird. Yeah. Although it was
I'll
way
take
worse.
The people in this movie over them.
Yeah, it was way worse in there than it is in here. And then for no reason whatsoever, the camera keeps following these magical creatures that are just in the frame for no reason. There's like little pixies that follow them.
It wasn't as bad as like Narnia 2 levels of.
It got bad though.
But it was
like the camera would just focus on like a snake with moss growing on its back, and it would just cut to a little pixie and a little imp-like creature that just is just like hiding behind a log, just looking at the dwarves talking. Like, what's this? They almost saw us. Ooh. We get it. This is a fantasy movie. And the worst part is that once the double turn happens, and then the lady love does a fake out by pretending to shoot Chris Hemsworth with an arrow, but it actually just caught that.
Of course.
And she never misses, guys. Remember that.
Oh yes.
She never. That was a recurring.
Established 20 times before this that she never misses.
Yeah, with her arrow. But after all of that, who saves the day? Why, it's the pixies that usher our heroes to moose that they ride to the north.
One of them's like,
"Come on, ride the moose." It's like the characters never even acknowledge the existence of these pixie fucks. It's like they never like, hey, there's a pixie, or like,
This
hey,
is the point in my, local D&D group where the DM's like, and then the moose come with the pixies riding on the back, and they beckon you to come help them. And that's when I take my dice and throw it at him and say, I'm done.
you just ignore. Like I would ignore those fucks too. Like if I had, like if we lived in a world
Go
where
Oregon Trail on those motherfuckers.
yeah, just take some buckshot. Just we needed some food, but we also need transport. Where are we gonna find the transport? The pixies summon 4 more moose. Like seriously, we need to find some horses or something.
But this moose meat,
Beautiful. But from there, like even though that was like the most annoying part of the movie for me, it's not like it's not like the most. It's not the worst legitimate part of the movie. Like this is the part of the movie that I hated the most, like from a personal standpoint. Like
this is the part that you didn't like. Okay.
no, like all right. From my own film and from my own. Like, I'm coming at this movie from 2 different perspectives. I just got through the patch where I was annoyed the most.
Two perspectives, that I don't like it, and I really, really don't like it.
It's a matter of why I don't like it. I didn't like all that part because it was fucking annoying. That's annoying filmmaking.
There was the shit writing, the lazy shit writing.
The lazy shit writing.
And then
there's the obnoxious visuals and the obnoxious...
The complete filler, waste of time, masturbation.
Yeah, well,
yes.
But then in comes the ending where it's... The ending is one of the most rushed and most uninspired climaxes.
Oh, man. The army.
We only see like a dozen of these. Like, what a great army! Truly an army that could take on the armies of Mordor. Or,
Apparently,
or
the
Uruk-hai.
is established. The wind blows the blanket partially off the mirror.
Yeah,
Which apparently never happened to the goblins. I don't know. It blows the thing off the mirror, and the mirror, the gold plate, the giant gold dinner plate,
of a
which is
mirror.
really
Yeah.
what it is, causes the Chris Hemsworth to finally question Gingerhead.
Oh, wait! I think I know where you're going with this one. I think you know where you're going with this, and I think the fault here is in the writing of it, because no, but like, we initially thought like he turns around, takes the knife up to his own chest, and says, "Have you been untrue? Have you been untrue?" And we were thinking like, is he asking her if she's slept with other guys during the 7 years? That's what we thought.
That's exactly that's what untrue basically means, especially in this context.
Yeah, but what he actually meant was like, have you been lying to me about? That's what he meant.
But it sounded like, have you been fucking other men during this time when you've been
Apparently in the dungeon.
apparently in the dungeon? Did you fuck your torture?
Like, did you fuck your other prisoners?
Seriously?
Were you someone's bottom bitch for?
And so the ice starts creeping up, and apparently and honestly, all this time, I mean, it's I don't know, but the mirror apparently summons the army to them, and also makes him go just a little bit, nutto.
Yeah,
but apparently that bamfs the army to them.
Uno.
Because they just land out of the sky like the goblins do.
And hence the double turn. But...
Oh, and the Frost Queen is riding a fucking polar bear.
Like the Golden Compass?
Like the Golden Compass. Or like the White Witch of Narnia.
Or
riding the Tilda Swinton on her polar bear. This is the same goddamn shit. Just not even trying to make it a little bit different. Just the exact...
I mean, granted, I haven't seen it. So
could have been something else, like an armadillo. A giant armadillo, or I don't know.
Something other than a polar bear. Even though a polar bear would be the most boss thing to ride if you were a freaking cryomancer, what frost-related creature, that real frost-related creature, would you want to ride into battle? You can't have a frost dragon because they aren't real.
It has to be an actual animal?
Yeah, it has to be an actual animal.
Ooh.
I can't imagine you trying to ride into battle
Penguin?
on a fucking harp seal. Those are
Or yeah, heart.
yeah. It's either polar bear or ice dragon. So you're not exactly spoiled for choice when it comes to this.
Ice dragon, a real animal.
Oh. I guess if you have cryomancer powers, you could make your own ice dragon.
I don't know why she didn't just ride a dragon made of ice.
Other than they probably couldn't afford it in the budget. You know, that's the thing about, like, for this unstoppable army she has, she only has, like, maybe 24 men.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
On the...
And she never even uses the polar bear to fight. Just transportation.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt animals.
It's not... You know, like, I imagine, like, there's, like, some medieval PETA that just gets into up in arms about, like, the Snow Queen's cruel and inhuman treatment of animals.
People,
But we don't want to piss off the PETA people.
No.
But the ending is just this hurricane of bullshit. The Snow Queen gets the mirror, does the whole mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. Then all of a sudden, the mirror just transforms into Charlize Theron. He's like, I'm back, bitches! Like, I'm not quite, like, us not having seen the first movie, I don't know if, like, her explanation of being a part of the mirror now fits with it or not. I don't care. What I care about is that
she probably got banished into the mirror, just like, you know, Jafar into the lamp. It's
yeah.
I'd put my money on it.
You're something along those lines. But what I don't get is that if her explanation is that she's part of the mirror, and now that the Snow Queen has the mirror under her command, hence why she was able to find out the truth about her child.
Oh, why jump into that? Yeah, she says that she has the evil queen bound to her. She says, "You're bound to me. You have to tell me the truth. What happened to the child?" And she reveals that. So how far does this usually being bound is, you know, you can control just about her every move.
Yeah, so where does she start having a will of her own, and when does she not?
Yeah, and is she just, other than telling the truth about what she did, that's as far as it goes. They end up in a wizard battle. They have a wizard battle, and at no point does she say, "I command you to stop. Sleep."
Yeah, nothing like that, because that would make for an anticlimactic battle. But yet, does she not have dominion over her or not? Because apparently she can force her to she can force her to do anything. I mean, if you can force her to tell her the truth regardless of what it is, then you got dominion over her mind.
Yeah.
I mean, but fucking magic, whatever. It's just that's a good phrase for this movie. Whatever, magic, whatever. My the climax of Chris Hemsworth trying to, for no reason or whatsoever, just climb up this sheer rock face and then tumble onto the roof, not alerting a single goddamn person, even though it sounds like a freaking elephant is tap dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the remaining dwarves who have not been frozen for no reason, talk about such transparent. We have nothing for these characters left to do. Let's just freeze them in place and then just provide a motivation for the other two dwarves to save them, even though they don't do anything to help Chris Hemsworth.
Why the fuck did they bother these supposedly murderous huntsmen with no love in their hearts? Why did they take these now frozen dwarves? Mm-hmm. And hoist them off to the freaking ice castle?
Apparently, she has a nice gallery. Apparently, she freezes her victims and then she just keeps them as trophies.
She was just missing she wanted to add a couple dwarves to her flag. Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'd imagine, all right. So if we're trying to get into this character's mentality, obviously the people that she lines up in her frozen gallery are people that have tried to rise up against her and have failed, or they were people offering her gifts but were meager offerings and such, and such impotence
and apparently insolence, dwarves.
And such insolence cannot be met with no punishment. And then, but all of a sudden, she just freezes these two dwarves because they just had this little, "Oh, you're gonna have to get through us, sister." And then they just get frozen. It's like, hey, put them in my gallery. Put them right next to the king that I took over his kingdom.
Yeah.
Actually, from that mentality, that sounds a little bit badass. like even in your own death, when you realize like at least I will be held in some kind of memoriam in someone's
Next to these two fuck off dwarves
It's like- yeah, I mean, like from that
from
perspective,
Fucksville.
just yeah, it's like you're being put up in display in somebody's bathroom. But no, they were just trying to set up a rescue plan for the other dwarves. But the dwarves don't even figure at all into the final battle. Neither does the Lady Love, actually. It's really all about the sisters, fucking things up and having a wizard battle.
And boy, you can tell Chris Hemsworth is the favored member of the group.
The movie's called The Huntsman.
The
of
DM
course.
gives him so many reflex saves that he fails, and eventually catches his axe on the side of the house. It's just...
Although I will say this, they tried to racially tone deaf the casting, like it's obvious that they're in some kind of Nordic inspired environment with the architecture that we described, but all of a sudden there's like white guys and black guys just like in this army, just
yeah.
But it's only white or black. I mean, if you're going to be racially toned down, why isn't there any Asians there? Like, why aren't there any Hispanics? I mean, you are mindful enough to like, we can't have them all be white. Let's put some black people in there. Like we'll put one or two black guys inside the and everyone else alpaca faced white people. Why? That is so like. On one hand, yeah, you can't exactly have them all be white, especially. All right, this is where it gets a little like thin ice for me. Like
Thin ice.
yeah, it's thin ice for me, but like I get why you did it. It's a token gesture of trying to include some racial inclusion in your movie,
Yes.
especially since the black guy in the movie who apparently has a character arc. He has a character arc in this movie where
he does.
Where like when he was a child, the Snow Queen says, "You will, love is for the weak," and I saved you from love as she frostbites his chin, and there, like puts her hand on his chin.
At that point, I was worried that she was going to turn him white.
But no, like she just leaves frost burns on his chin, and then like as he grows up into an adult, he still has those scars, and he's faithful to the Snow Queen. But then by the end of the movie, he's like, "No, I'm going to fight with you, Chris Hemsworth." That's a character arc. And you see, Hollywood is being diverse and all-inclusive with their casting. A black guy got a character arc. It's the finest written character
stop
arc.
bitching. Stop bitching.
It's got the finest character arc in all of this movie, easily. Actually, yeah, when you think about it, he kind of does have the best... He does have an arc. No one else in this movie has an arc. Except for maybe the Snow Queen. But even then, like... no.
At least he has one that's very...
At least
that makes sense.
Yeah. Instead of
something happens
of,
later on.
Yeah, ostensibly he has the exact same character arc as God, I forgot the character's name. I hate to call him this, but you all know what it is. The black guy in Star Wars 7.
Oh,
he has the.
I knew you were gonna. I was sure you were gonna.
I only saw the movie once. I'm sorry, I don't remember the character's name.
That's right. Yeah.
He
rebels against the new force. Fuck, we are going to get so much heat for not knowing our Star Wars lore.
No, but it's the same character arc. He was abducted as a child into some despot's army, and then rejects the despot.
Yeah.
They just lifted the whole character arc from fucking Star Wars 7. I mean, albeit they probably did it way before they even saw that movie, because movies take longer than 5 months to make. But
yeah, what was the new Imperials? Then
like the New Order, the Return Order. I
don't remember.
It's like we did see Star Wars 7, by the way.
Yeah, it just wasn't really.
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
It was fun, but like I have no real impetus to see it again.
Never was that big of a Star Wars fan to begin with, so
yeah. But God. So the queens have a battle. Good wins.
Well, as much of a Snow White fan either.
Yeah, I'll be. And they win when Snow Queen freezes the mirror, and Chris Hemsworth just launches an axe at it.
Yes. Keeping your ultimate weakness right up there on the wall.
Yeah, and of course, sequel baiting. Sequel bait ending for a poorly written, rushed sequel to a movie that I cannot believe was demanded. Or at least the studios thought somebody demanded. Whew. What a fucking hot mess of a movie.
Oof. Yeah, how many people's in the theater? About
Right,
6 other than us.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't. I enjoyed it more than enjoyed. I disliked it less than you, but
I was, yeah, like I didn't. You didn't find this movie nearly as obnoxious as I did.
I was able to get through it.
No, I have a feeling this is going to be higher on my list than yours.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God damn it! Fuck this movie. And that's all there's left to say. The fuck this movie.
We've covered everything. What are you still there for?
Go on.
Go off and not watch it.
Shoot. Review's over.